been a lot of interest in grafting, and just a little bit now about rootstocks. This, by the way, is the very Malling Merton 106 rootstock. That's the rootstock, there's the join, which I grafted in a video about the saddle graft. It's about 2 years ago. It's the very same label, Queen Cox. That's where the saddle graft was made. That's the extent of the wood that was, the pencil of wood that was grafted in. That's the growth that was made during 2008, which you'll notice has now got loads of fruit spurs on it, loads of fruit buds, and that's the join from which the 2009 growth, and that, as you can now see, is about 6 feet tall. So that's grown away from 6 inches. I keep coming back to this point. If you understand how the tree grows, you will be able to work out for yourself how to prune it. This is the 2009 growth, which is it's nice clean growth, but there's no fruit bud on it. There's the join. Below the join is the 2008 growth, which has got loads and loads of fruit buds on it. So this tree would actually be, this is now ready to dig up and plant out, and it would make a really nice cordon. Anyway, I want to talk about rootstocks. This is a row of we planted some rootstocks here some while ago. They grew too big. We didn't use them all. I cut them down. I cut them down at soil level, and what happened is they sent loads of shoots up. Okay, this is what happens. This is how rootstocks are actually propagated. You can propagate your own. It isn't very difficult. If you're mean, or if you've got a long-term plan, you can, or just economical. You can plant a rootstock, let it grow away for a year, cut it down, and it'll send a load more up. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 little rootstocks, and they'll grow true to type. These were Malling Merton 106, the most generally useful rootstock. So what I could do, what I will do is another matter, but that's down to my circumstances. But what I could do is dig this up, take these as rooted cuttings, set them out 6 feet apart, 6 inches or so apart, and then grow them on. And here's a row where we've done the same thing. Right, I just want to show you some rootstocks that we just arrived through the post from Blackmore Nurseries. I'll try cocoon that if you can, give it the wind from that. You want to get your rootstocks originally from a reputable source. Here we get ours from Blackmore Nurseries. They're very good. They deliver throughout the UK. Excellent website, Blackmore Nurseries. You'll find it easily. We've been dealing with them for the best part of 20 years. We've never had a disappointment. Once we had some trees that were gnawed by rabbits, I took them back, no quibble, so they were pretty good. This is a bunch of Quince A rootstocks. I paid £2 each for these, and they're in pretty good shape. It says the root seed. When you plant them, you want to plant them to about 1 inch above the height of the most upright root. Don't plant them any deeper than that. These are in pretty good shape. We're going to plant these today. I'm going to plant these about a foot apart. I'm going to let these grow away for a year, and then I'm going to graft them next year. I think that's better. But if you're in a hurry, you can do what they call bench grafting, and I have seen a professional grafter doing this. You get your bundle of rootstocks in from the nursery like this, and actually on your bench, graft the individual trees. What you can do, I'm not going to do it, but it is done professionally quite often. You take your individual rootstock like this, and you get your sharp knife. Get your sharp knife out. I'm not going to do it. But do the saddle graft just like I showed you on a video earlier. Just cut this and then cut the inside of your graft, stick it on, tie it up, and do the whole thing indoors on your bench, and then just go and plant them out like that. I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, that's done professionally. I don't tend to do that. I think they take better if you plant them, let them grow away for a whole year. and that's what we're going to do. Anyway, so rootstocks, you can raise your own by propagative, vegetative propagation by root cuttings, but on the other hand, they're not very expensive and you can buy them, and so why not? Now is a good time to get on with it. Your time is running out now. If you're thinking about doing grafting, ideally you should have your rootstocks in the ground already. But if you're thinking about grafting, the time to do it is just at the very beginning of the spring, late March, early April. But you need to cut your wood, you need to cut your pencils of wood. In fact, if you want to turn around, Julia's standing just behind a nice tree here, which is a Ribston pippin as it happens. And if I was going to take some grafting from this, which I'm not, then what I'd do is I'd look up into the tree, and here, okay, combine it with pruning. Here's a nice strong upright piece of wood, nice bit of last year's growth that's actually in the middle of the tree, so probably will be pruned out. That's a nice bit. I can get three. I'll just cut this up for the sake of argument. Just cutting that behind a bud. Cut that behind a bud there, and I've got three, maybe four pencils of wood, and if I was going to graft with these, I'd wrap these up in a little bit of moist tissue and wrap that up inside a polythene bag, and I'll put that inside the fridge, and I'll be doing that about now or over the next 2 or 3 weeks and storing it moist and cool in the refrigerator, and grafting it onto the rootstocks in about another 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, happy grafting.